So we're talking this morning to Dr. Cary Waterhouse, our pet vet from Lake Union Veterinary Clinic. Good morning.
Good morning, Margaret.
So I'm wondering about our cats and dogs. First of all, can they catch coronavirus?
So there has been, to date, and I admit I didn't check the news this morning, one cat in Belgium that was reported to be infected and have clinical signs. They isolated the virus from a stool sample, so the virus was a little different in the isolation. Previously, it had been two dogs that had the virus present in their nasal passages, but they think that was just some casual contact. So one cat has been reported to develop signs and shed the virus, but it's thought that the cat actually contracted it from its owner, who had started showing signs about 5 days before that. So there is no evidence that they can pass it to us, but there is one animal in the world that has been shown to actually contract the virus and have what they believe to be signs.
So as near as we know, we can't catch it from them.
Not in the contact like we're exposed to other people. The virus is not replicating inside them and then being shed in their respiratory droplets. It is possible, just like picking up a gas handle that was touched by somebody shedding the virus, or touching a pen in your doctor's office, that if your animal has the virus on their fur and you pet them, then you are able to pick the virus up that way. So it just kind of drives home the importance of washing your hands. The CDC and the American Vet Med Association are recommending that people who have COVID-19 or who are in homes with people, that they handle their pets with gloves and minimize contact, just because they're no different at that point than something else the person has touched.
So we're out walking our dogs. We're keeping, 6 feet of distance between people, but sometimes the dogs on the elastic leashes are playing with each other. Should we not be doing that? Should our dogs and cats be social distancing also?
I guess if we're going to do this, we might as well go all in. And I think social distancing isn't just for the people or the person on the other end of the leash. It's for all family members. And I think any risk we can take, or any risk we can avoid by not bringing this virus into our homes and onto our bodies, is a good idea.
So would it be a good idea to bathe our animals pronto?
When we have animals, and veterinary clinics are still open in the city, and when we have animals come into the practice, we'll instruct staff members to handle them with gloves, handle the personal equipment. And for animals who have perhaps been in a home where there's coronavirus, we'll wipe them down or use a real mild soap to give them a quick wipe down before we touch them. So I don't think that would be a bad idea. I don't think we have to get super militant about giving them a full bath every time they go outside. I think it's as long as we minimize the contact and use some common sense, not touch things that we don't know the origins of, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. And in terms of petting other dogs when you're out and about, should we be not touching other people's animals?
Well, I guess if we're not going to shake that person's hand, we probably shouldn't pet their dog, or, I think that's a good idea. It sounds really awful to be walking along and see a dog and not bend down and pet it. But I think until we get through this, I think, again, we're in it to win it. And I think if we're going to do this, we should probably eliminate all the risks.
So if your pet needs some sort of service, like I've put off my dog's shots for a bit because the vet says it's not crucial, but if you do have really critical care that you need for your animals, what are vets doing to keep themselves and the pets safe?
Most of us have moved to what we call curbside service. You call when you arrive at the office. We will do a handoff at a safe distance with the leash outside the clinic. Bring your pet inside while you wait in your car. And this is for sick animals needing immediate medical attention. So we're not talking about the routine nail trim and the routine vaccinations that can maybe wait another few weeks. We're talking about the sick animal that really needs somebody to take a look at it. We bring the animal into the back. The doctor and the assistant do the examination. We then utilize phone or text messaging to kind of relay what's going on, give everybody a heads up. okay a treatment plan, do the treatments, and then hand the animal back to the owner the same way we took it in. So we're minimizing contact. We're staying 6 feet apart. I don't think I've had any members of the general public into the clinic now for about a week and a half, and it's going really well. People have been really understanding, and I think it's really minimizing the person-to-person contact. It's also preventing a lot of people from going out on the street for things that maybe we don't need to do right now.
That makes sense. What about the emotional effect of the animals are helping us, but I'm wondering if it's stressing them out to be inside with a lot more people all day long than they're used to.
You know, it's a big change in the routine. I know Shiloh and Howie are sitting here wondering when I'm going to leave so they can get some sleep. You know, right now it's
Exactly.
a lot of
That's what I'm worried about with Pip. She can't get a solid nap because we're here.
it's a lot of milling about. You know, we're still going out for walks and we're still doing things. And I think what we need to do is remember that this is temporary, and we can't sort of create a habit, you know, create some codependency. So, you know, one of the best pieces of advice that I received from a trainer a while ago was, you know, don't be afraid to give them a timeout. So even if we're home all day, and this is all day, every day, you know, give them a timeout, take them to their crate or put them in a room with some music playing, let them take a nap, let them be alone for a while, so that when all this changes and we start going back to work and we're not there 24/7, they don't have a second crisis of adjustment that they need to get used to.
That's great advice. What signs should we be looking for of stress in our pets so that we would know that maybe something like that would be in order?
You know, I think if we're starting to see the destructive behaviors that some of them will get, you know, it's almost the opposite of separation anxiety. Destructive behaviors, not wanting to eat or drink, certainly not wanting to go do things. I don't know if they're going to get stressed so much. It's just that they're going to get used to all this attention and really not be happy when it's over.
It's amazing how quickly humans adapt to the changes, but we're suffering some, you know, loneliness and isolation. So I can see why dogs and cats might do that once we go back to work. What are you seeing in your pets and clients at this point? Anything different during this era?
You know, not as much. We're still seeing pretty much the same issues that we see on a daily basis. I think dogs are still going out on leashes to walk and eating things they're not supposed to and suffering the effects. I think a lot of people are picking up on a few more things just because they're seeing things that wouldn't necessarily be part of the realm of what they observe on a day-to-day basis because they go to work. And you know, it's been pretty much business as usual.
I'm worried about overeating at home. Should we be worried about over treating our
You and me
pets?
both. You know, and I think that's part of it too, where we're there, and I think we've adapted their diet to be appropriate for when we're home at night or before work. If we're giving them extra treats during the day because they've learned that they can come up to us and look at us with those eyes, we need to make adjustments to the amount of food they're taking in, as do I.
Sounds like great advice. Thank you so much.